Hey everyone, I just wanted to check in. First of all, thank you. I think I responded to about 200 emails, direct messages, and Facebook messages of support. So very thankful to all of you, especially those of you who are taking the time to see just how hilarious this witch hunt really is. I've got a couple of openings this week. I've got Anthology set, and I've got a Return to Ravnica Fat Pack I'm going to do after this. But just a quick check-in. I wanted to let everyone, I got a lot of very concerned messages for me, and I super appreciate that. I assure you I'm totally fine, feeling great, in great spirits, and you should be too. But in case you've been living under a rock recently, you might not be aware that basically every Magic the Gathering personality, with a few exceptions, have been admonishing me publicly for allegedly forcing cosplayer Christine Sprankle to quit doing cosplay, in her words, due to, quote, constant harassment. Words that have been echoed by just a few: Brian from Tolarian Community College, Wedge from the Mana Source, Jeremy Knoll from Star City Games, Eric Froelich from Channel Fireball, Athena Froelich from Wizards of the Coast, A.E. Marling, flavor text editor for Wizards of the Coast, who's currently leading a campaign to try and ban my Patreon for some reason, Wizards of the Coast Corporate, Evan Irwin from Cool Stuff Inc., Magic Mike's, Jimmy Wong from The Command Zone, and many more. Of course, this has never been proven, and the great reveal last night was Brian's, albeit fair, albeit a little emotional and over the top, basically just a mishmash of random out of context tweets. But he himself failed to prove any relation between Christine Sprankle leaving as a cosplayer and any harassment from me. I have, of course, been of the mindset that while that video may have been mean, and there are parts of it that I regret being a little too mean, certainly was nowhere near harassment. And a couple of random tweets over a 6-month period. Of course, any rational person might agree that they may have been mean, but certainly not harassment. These tweets were not even directed at her, that everyone is using as this evidence. So the world sees now that there's really no evidence. There's no relation to her leaving cosplaying and anything I've done. A video that was out 6 months ago certainly did not cause her to quit randomly 6 months later. And so to everyone who supported me, thank you for taking the time and patience to see that, of course, this whole thing was a witch hunt veiled as some sort of anti-harassment campaign. And to those of you that didn't believe me but waited long enough to see the evidence, welcome back. I appreciate you. I'm not mad that you may have, when you have somebody like Brian or the Mana Source, these guys are pillars in the Magic community. You hear them say something, I know it's easy to believe it. But as we all have seen now, that it's just lies. A grossly irresponsible tweet by Christine Sprankle, triggering basically an all-out harassment campaign on me. Again, I'm no victim. I just want to point something out to all of you. So, due to the proliferation of this irresponsible tweet, I've actually been receiving actual harassment, death threats, people posting my home address to me in threatening ways. And of course, none of these things were done to Sprankle. None of these things were shown as anywhere near as being done by any of my followers or people that know me. And these messages began exactly when she sent this tweet. And they increased when guys, like I mentioned before, continued to signal boost a irresponsible lie, and it continues now, flooded with all sorts of messages. Now, according to those who've chastised me and want me banned from the game, from the entire community, basically, over 1 to 2 tweets in a 1-year span, and a video critiquing you know, they say that this makes someone entirely responsible. So in their opinion, all these people's opinions, that my video, even though I didn't directly harass, it led to all sorts of harassment, and therefore I am guilty of this. It is not my opinion that we've already seen now that they were unable to prove any connection at all between her leaving and me. Now the goalpost has moved to, well, look at all these other mean things he said over the years. According to their moral standards, this sort of thing also makes you guilty of what they call targeted harassment. You've seen this word come up a lot in the past few days. It's something that is a very serious thing. And so since the list I've given you at the beginning of this video is, and this list is just a small portion of the people perpetuating this dangerous message. Many of these people sending several tweets, many of these people creating several Reddit threads and creating videos. You know, since by their definition, this is targeted harassment, and everything I've received now is a direct result of their, quote, targeted harassment. You know, by their own standards, I would then expect them not only to delete their videos and delete their tweets, and issue a heartfelt apology, because this is what they want me to do, right? By their own moral standards, their own moral codes, creating these videos and then having these videos cause harassment, like I'm about to show you I've been receiving, unlike some people who showed no evidence of it, they are complicit. Jimmy Wong has targeted me for harassment. He's even equated me to a sexual harasser in Hollywood. The Manosaurs, Tulane Community College, these people, by their own moral standards, are guilty of targeted harassment. And so they want me to delete my video and be banished from the community. I would think at bare minimum, if what they're saying is really true, if they're being intellectually honest, then they should immediately delete all tweets about me, any retweets, and any videos they have, and I expect a very quick and heartfelt apology from all of them. Because if they don't do this, well, then the world will see that they're in fact morally bankrupt, that they never really believed what they were saying. They were just using it as a way to attack and bully me. And the biggest apology, to be honest, that I'm owed is by their moral standards. I don't think she owes me an apology, but by their moral standards, Christine Sprankle owes me a huge apology for herself wrongfully and without evidence pinning her leaving the MTG community on harassment that literally nobody's been able to prove or show any real evidence of outside of a single video from 6 months ago and 1 to 2 tweets. So thanks everyone for hanging out and seeing that, of course, this was all just the fact, it's all political. These are people that don't like me personally and are just using this as a crutch to try and push me out and silence me. Now, if all of these people retract their statements and publicly apologize, well then, I guess I was wrong and that they truly believe it. But I'm pretty sure none of them will. I guess we'll have to see. I'll await your responses, content creators.
The state of play that we see isn't always the way it seems. Past begrudge politic, a cancer, not a feat. Ambitious cuts most often bleed. In between faction views and selfish needs, a quiet place where we agree. Quiet place where we agree. You gave so much to the machine. even what wasn't yours to give. Now that the engine sees you're throwing wrenches in, state of play falls apart again. Now that the engine sees you're throwing wrenches in, state of play falls apart again. State of play falls apart again.